What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. Welcome back to Wholesale Fridays with my friend Jonah here.
Yo,
Still struggling through the newborn grind, I assume. Unless
we're making it, baby. We're
unless
staying alive.
yep, unless they're already sleeping through the night or something like that. But I highly doubt that one. But
We're manufacturing energy today.
there you go, there you go. How's everything going for you in the wholesale biz lately?
It's good, man. I actually just hopped off a call with one of my brand partners. So right now it's just like beginning of the year, trying to strengthen those relationships with my existing guys and
Yeah.
planning out a few trade shows. But other than that, just smooth sailing so far. Been a good year.
Very nice. Oh, what's up, Kate? We got the K e-commerce on Instagram. How you doing? Canada's finest, you might say.
There we go.
Sweet. So, what does it look like for you, like strengthening those like brand relationships and stuff? Like, is that, I assume, contacts you've already made? Like, are all those people you're buying from already? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, from what I've seen, a lot of brands and distributors like when you can give forecasts just to kind of see like, hey, I think I can sell X amount of your products this year. Because then on their side, there's just a lot with manufacturing, supply chain, cash flow issues, like brands deal with it too. So depending on the brand, every brand's different. Some of them have only one product. Some of them have 1,000. So
interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, making sure they're not going to be running out of stuff to sell you.
Right. Or like, whoa, don't load up too much on that one. We barely sold any last year.
Right.
Let's just get more black. So making like smarter decisions with our buying.
Makes sense. Sweet. Yeah. And for those of you guys that are hopping on in here, let us know if you guys have any questions about getting started with the wholesale model on Amazon. Just kind of buying from distributors, brands, all that kind of stuff. Jonah's done, well over 8 figures in sales on Amazon at this. But what is your lifetime sales at by now?
It's got to be 40 million.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't officially checked, so I still just say 35. But
sure, yeah,
somewhere around there.
Very nice. Yeah. So obviously very experienced wholesale seller. So he's been popping in every Friday this time. So if you guys are watching the replay or something, you want to come chop it up with Jonah, hit the little reminder bell or whatever, as cheesy as it is. And yeah,
Yes,
let's see. What's up, Karen? How's it going? What's up, Roman? How are you doing, man? Yeah, and last week we were talking about trade shows and stuff. Is there any other ones kind of on the horizon? Like what's the next big one for you? Just go like make those connections.
Yes, the next one for me is Expo West. It's March 4th through 6th, and that's in Anaheim. So that's like my backyard, California. Natural products, a lot of grocery, which I don't do a ton of grocery, but what I do is supplements and like health and household type of products. So like anything health related, I'm into. Have a couple of brands already. So that's going to be the first one, and excited about it. A couple other guys are going too. Kaj will be there. Some other wholesale network guys. So really excited for trade shows.
That's cool. Yeah. Those are always just kind of fun anyway to like, it's easy with Amazon business to like never talk to other Amazon sellers or other humans in general if you do it the wrong way. So yeah, I know that's always fun going to like, Miami Sellers Conference and all that stuff as well. Just like kind of getting in the room with other people. That's so big. Even beyond trade shows, just getting in the room with people who are doing the same like crazy thing as us, right? You get in the room, it's like, wait, I'm not the crazy one. Like that's what kind of trying to get out.
We're all in our own little like circle, our own bubbles, right? And then you go to trade shows and industry events and everyone's still doing their thing in their bubble, but you can like connect with them and really learn from each other too. Because at the end of the day, like Amazon is a business that's just always changing and evolving. Like that's why what the tips in 2012 don't work anymore. Like you just have to be able to adapt. And one of the best ways of doing so is just staying in the network, staying connected.
For sure. Let's see. Hidden on Instagram said, what do you think about wholesale FBA? So I assume you're talking like FBA versus FBM. Do you do any FBM?
Yeah, probably like 5%.
Okay. Yeah. What is that for you? Because like from like an online for like an arbitrage perspective, usually that's stuff where it's like, maybe super seasonal or like was really easy to find and I want to be first to the listing. Like what's that for wholesale?
It's mainly like when we purchase or inventory from a distributor or brand, we'll keep some back in the warehouse to do FBM, even just to Walmart, to eBay, to diversify a little bit. So sometimes when listings don't have that great of volume, you like to test it out. So for us, a lot of the times I'm hopping on listings that have zero volume at all. but it's like really good opportunity, or the keep a chart showed sales like 2 years ago, but who knows, the supplier just didn't have stock for that. So I find opportunities like that. And instead of just sending in like 120 units, we'll do FBM, get a couple sales. And then as it starts to pick up, we transition to FBA.
That makes sense. So it's like a testing grounds. You can like prove, is that product actually going to work before you start paying storage fees? And if it doesn't, it no harm done. It's just a little corner in the warehouse.
Right, exactly.
For sure. Let's see. Farhan said, facing difficulty is just finding products. Find the distributor isn't surprisingly interesting. Yeah. So he's finding plenty of distributors, but nothing in those accounts.
So you're finding distributors, just not profitable products inside those accounts?
Yeah, it seems like that's what he's running into. I've definitely seen that. Like it's sometimes it'll be really easy, and obviously you can speak more of that, but a lot of times like that, you send one email and it's just like that unprofitable distributors. Like, what are you looking for in those price sheets?
Right. So what I'm saying is, like, if you can open a distributor very, very easily, the chances of you finding profitable products are low. Right. So if you're running into issues and it might take a few hiccups, or they are asking you questions and digging into where your business is, what you're going to sell, and then you get the account open, price sheets are usually more profitable there. So if you're opening accounts and just not finding profitable goods, the quality of your supplier is low.
Yeah. I'd love more like context on that, Farhan. Like, let us know, like, if you think that's what you're running into. Like, were they really easy to find, or yeah. Let's see. Best route for landing brand direct counts in bulk. Yeah, like what's the outreach process like?
So we definitely use Smart Scout. That's one of our tools for sourcing lists of brands. I've liked to do things in batches, so I don't always do outreach, right? Especially in wholesale, you open an account, then you have to spend money with that account. So you can only spend so much. Your capital ends up, disappearing if you're placing 10, 20, 30, $100,000 orders. So we do it in bulk, but my favorite strategy is more of a dialed approach. So I'm not just like sending 100 emails a week. I'm not doing 100 phone calls. Like, we will go for a very specific brand now. And
especially in the world of AI, I feel like all these brands are probably getting absolutely hammered with like the very easiest type of outreach to do.
AIs plus VAs.
Yeah.
Like, you can pay people, and like me and you use virtual assistants. If your audience doesn't know, virtual assistants are very useful in an Amazon business because there's so many different tasks you can do. You can even just pay somebody to help you, put together a list of potential brands to contact. You can have them do contact forms and fill out contact forms and like help you with the outreach. AI as well, like there's ways to scrape leads in bulk, contact in bulk. But once again, your best conversations, your best relationships are going to be when you can get involved and have that personal touch. So use those tools like to your advantage, but don't rely on them fully.
Cool. Yeah. So you're just trying to figure out like what brands are finding success, like growing fast recently, that kind of thing, and digging in from there.
Yep.
Gotcha. Let's see. How much revenue do you lose to false declines, ghost orders? I don't know that that's like a real issue, because like if you like go to your like orders tab on Seller Central, and if you sell like decent volume, I can guarantee you have a handful of orders in pending, which means that like their payment hasn't cleared yet. So like by definition, the payment has to clear before anything gets like actually shipped out. Maybe more of an issue with like, if you sell on your own like Shopify site or something like that, but that's it's not really an issue on Amazon. In fact, it's kind of annoying because you'll see that as like pending orders, and it'll be something that somebody bought like 3 weeks ago and it's still not available to sell again, and that kind of thing. But I guess better than them shipping out your stuff and you're not getting paid for it. So I will take that. Let's see. How small of a brand would be likely to do business with a newer seller? That's a good question. Yeah. So like someone who's maybe a little bit of an arbitrage seller, like that is interesting. Like, can you reach out to the big brands? Like, what's your thought?
So you can, and it depends what your like outcome is, your goal. You can reach out to big brands if you're just trying to open an account. A lot of the times they'll point you to a distributor, or big brands that just sell to anyone who can hit a certain purchase order. I prefer, especially with new sellers, to go for the smaller brands. So how small of a brand? Like I would work with the smallest of small brands because it's not going to cost you a lot of money on a purchase order, and you have the potential to grow that brand. So my big thing with brand direct wholesale is you need to have proof, right? Like it's much easier to earn business with suppliers if you say, hey, I'm working with this brand and I took them from $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month, you know? And for us, like from an arbitrage reselling perspective, a lot of those $10,000 a month brands, it's not even worth it, right? Like if you saw other sellers on the brand already, like you wouldn't want to join, even if it was profitable, because like a listing that does 50 sales per month split 20 ways is you're getting nothing.
Yeah. Or that, that $10,000 brand split between like, 5 or 6 different sellers, like who cares?
But if you're playing the long game and you call that brand up and say, hey, I think I can actually add value. We can do X, Y, Z, whatever it is. Try to earn their business exclusively and then grow it. Like totally worth it to do that. So different angle.
And that's true at all scales too. Cause I remember talking to you at a conference, like, about like the huge like brand management, like pattern and that kind of thing. Like they weren't interested. What was it, like 10 million you had to be, or like 5 million you had to be for them?
Yeah, you had to do like $5 million a year,
right? Yeah,
to work with them, and if not, so, it's nothing.
Yeah, and so we're sitting there. It's like, okay, so there's $3 million brands that you guys don't even want to touch. Okay, sure. Well,
how can I get in contact with you guys? And this is a big part of wholesale too. It's relationships, contacts, word of mouth. So like once you work with one person, ask them for a recommendation. Ask them if there's any other brands that would be interested in having a service like that. And it's a slower process, but you'll build out more of a name for yourself, and you actually do have like skills and relationships that compound.
Yeah, no, that's just making relationships at trade shows and that kind of thing, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sweet. What's up, Nicholas? Let's see. In your high volume sales like Black Friday, have you ever dealt with inventory overselling because people buy at the same time? No. I mean, Amazon systems are pretty pretty airtight on that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they probably had to solve that one about 15 years ago, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that's the good thing about Amazon, honestly, for like first-time entrepreneurs, myself included. Like you don't have to worry about a lot of the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Because you're leveraging Amazon. So like, we're all focused on sales tax when you're first getting started, and then you're like, oh, Amazon omits sales tax. I don't have to worry.
Well, it didn't used to be like that. Like you and I were both selling back in the day when you had to remit to like every state. And I remember having like a tax jar thing for like half the different, like it was not fun.
So here's a tip for the audience too. A lot of brands still kind of think that's how it works with Amazon.
Interesting.
And so they don't want to deal with the fees. They don't want to deal with taxes. They don't want to deal with anything like that. They'd rather sell to a wholesale partner and have them manage the channel instead.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when you think about it, like when you think about how much work we have to do just like selling on Amazon, like it makes sense that even like a decent sized brand just doesn't want to deal with all the opening cases with Amazon and making listing changes and getting reimbursed from shipments and all that kind of stuff. That because they basically have to hire their own small team at least to manage just like e-commerce
or expensive agency.
Right, exactly. Let's see. Say you buy a case of deodorant with 10 units. Would you have to open and package each individually? If you're selling them as individuals, then yeah. But like with the multi-packs, like that's a really good thing to take advantage of, especially with stuff like that, where it's like a stick of deodorant might sell for $5 by itself. It's going to be near impossible to make money on that. But maybe the 6-pack is profitable. Maybe the 12-pack isn't. Maybe the 24-pack is, right? So always like look at those like extra bundles and stuff. Another common one will be like with like hygiene products and stuff. Maybe there'll be different scents that have a bundle. You can check for those. Like, yeah, just kind of always like fully explore those other options for selling the product there. Those are also good candidates for like FBM. If you have something with like a lot of different multi-packs, rather than having to send in 10 of each multi-pack to FBA, if your 24-pack sells out, you can just shift the units to the 24-pack if you're an FBM seller. It's one of those advantages of keeping stuff in-house, basically. For most of us, literally in-house. Let's see. don't have any experience in marketing or confused. Can you guide you through it? Yeah. So, I mean, if you're brand new to Amazon, like the easiest place to start is going to be buying and selling from websites, or like literally just going out to a local retail store and just like scanning stuff, getting the feel for it, making your first couple $1,000 in sales at least. And then kind of what, Jonah focuses on, like wholesale is a good way to like scale it up as you go. So, yeah, I would just watch like the free course that's linked down below, or just, the 5-hour free course on YouTube if you want to check that out. Just kind of get a good starting point. Let's see, typical EBITDA having this business. Yeah. So, wholesale margins usually around like 10-15%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And it depends how you're looking at it. Depends if you have partners in the business. Depends if you're taking debt to grow your business, right? Because debt is expensive too. 10 to 20% margins is a good goal to have, I would say.
Yeah.
And like, don't source products, don't buy products if the gross margin is 5 to 10%, because like I'm talking net margins too. So if you're buying something and it's 8% gross margin, but you have all these expenses, like it's not going to be worth your time. So when we're sourcing like products and looking at sheets and plugging it into SellerAmp, I'd like to see 15 to 25% on that margin number.
Very nice. Let's see. If you could have a standard failure. You got a lot of very specific questions. Do you know what he's hitting on here?
I think you're overthinking some of the things to get started. Like this is a lot of recovered, like you're not dealing with fraud. You don't deal with customer at all. Like we don't talk to our customers. Rarely you'll get messages in your Seller Central account. That's where you can converse with the seller. So if there's any problem there, but in terms of payments, like everything's managed through Amazon. So Amazon receives the transaction from the consumer. They hold your money for a number of days to make sure you ship the product, they receive it. And then once they receive it, money is released into your account. So there's no failure of transaction. You're not going to have to worry about anything like this.
Yeah. You should just get started, man. I know you're, it's totally natural to have like a ton of like random questions and stuff, but like the one thing you'll realize is like a bunch of like the obscure things you think might pop up just don't ever actually become an issue. Like, yeah, just got to make your first sales as soon as possible. Like the big thing, and for everyone watching, like people that I talk to and they see a YouTube video and then the next day they buy something to sell, those people are winning every single time over the person that's spending a month researching the business. Like it's not even close. So like if you're that person, you're watching stream, you've been studying the game for forever, like I'm gonna challenge you to like turn stream off. Like I'm gonna tell you to do something I'm not supposed to say on YouTube, right? Turn stream off and go buy something. If you've been watching streams for more than a week and you haven't bought anything, like you just got to kind of get after it. Like you'll no way to learn rather than like getting into the game.
It's funny too. Like I totally understand. I respect the position of, I want to have my website set up. I want to have my LLC done. I want to have this, and that before I sell on Amazon. But like everyone that you're watching online started by just like opening a seller account. Most of the time it was an individual account, which is free. So like you don't have to pay monthly for anything. Just open an individual account. And like what Warner said, like walk down to a Target, a Walmart, go to the clearance aisle, pull out SellerAmp and scan products. Cause like that's going to be the best way you actually learn. There's a Keepa chart there. You start to see like how these products work. You can buy one, so it's very low risk. And just make sure, like my whole thing is make sure you're buying from an authorized retailer, like somebody where their receipts are going to pass.
For sure. How often do you do the Q&A? We're doing wholesale Q&As every Friday this time. Yeah, appreciate you popping in, Eduardo. Yeah, let us know if you got any other questions and stuff here. Let's see, Amazon. Yeah, so Amazon's definitely not perfect, right? Like we're saying, like it's the best game in town for reselling stuff, but like far from perfect, of course. So yeah, you just got to do your best with what we got, and then pending order, that kind of stuff. Like I just think you're worrying about like the 0.01% of things that happen when 99.9% of the time customer pays, everything goes through, and yeah, what you should be a lot more worried about is how do I find stuff that stays profitable consistently. If you don't solve that, and you have solved like how to find like weird payment discrepancies and stuff, like you're just going to make way less money than somebody who knows how to buy stuff that stays profitable.
Yeah, and Amazon is not perfect whatsoever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
because me, Warner, we promote the business model online. That's just because it worked for us. So this is something where we learned it. We realized, wow, this is actually a business model that works. You can scale it. There's nobody who's going to tell you what to do, where you have to work, when. So like the business model works. It's not perfect. We do not own our brands. We do not own Amazon, right? But I still don't know a better way of turning $1 into two. So it's just using it as a cash flow machine, and then do what I do, Warner does. Everybody tries to diversify once you've had some success. So whether that be assets, real estate, do something as well.
Build up that nice little reselling cash machine, go buy a house, buy some stocks, that kind of stuff. That's how you build like long-term wealth off of it. For sure. Let's see. What product would you avoid if this was your first product to buy? So there's like a couple that I can think of. What would be like the 2 or 3 that you can think of?
I would say high ticket. So anything high ticket.
That's definitely on my mind. Yeah.
High ticket electronics, I personally have not had success with. I know some people it works, but that would be mine.
Yeah. And the other thing I would add, like if it's your very first, is very like high return categories as well.
Women's
at least
clothing.
Yeah, women's clothing. Like I learned never to ever try selling men's dress shirts. We bought like several like versions of one that we found on sale. I realized I had never sold men's dress shirts before, and they literally got like half returned. It was crazy. So yeah, just sticking to especially if you're getting started with wholesale, Eduardo, like sticking to things that are nice and simple, probably usually between $20 to $80, maybe up to $100. Like that's kind of going to be the sweet spot, stuff that people buy over and over again, that kind of thing. But I mean, there's profit anywhere. Don't let us tell you where to look. There's obviously people that their entire business model is selling high ticket items, and they just kind of figured it out for themselves. That's the beauty of it. Like one person might be doing something that we hate and they're crushing it, and vice versa, right? Like that's the beauty. And like kind of what we're talking about, like just pick something that makes you money online. Like take advantage of the fact that it has never been easier for just like normal people to make money on our own. Let's see. Best way to calculate Amazon fees and prep center fees. Yeah, so you just like you just throw like the SellerAmp Chrome extension up, and you'll plug in like what you're paying for. It'll show you all that basically. Let's see. Ashley's asking, what do you think is a reasonable purchase order to start wholesale?
$3 to $5K. You find a local distributor in your area, open an account. That can be totally cool with $3,000 to $5,000 PO.
For sure. Let's see. Can you just buy stuff randomly? You don't you have to get permission to sell brands? So you do have to get ungated to sell most brands on Amazon. But since we're buying from authorized distributors, authorized retailers, that kind of thing, those are legitimate sources of inventory. So yeah, you'll just kind of submit that. And I also saw someone was asking about like things you're actually allowed to sell. So like cool thing we just added on Boxem, like you can go press the bulk ungate button on Boxem, and it'll run a list of over 1,000 things. And beginner sellers are getting like 50 to 100 brand approvals for free, and that kind of gives you a place to start. So for those of you guys that are like brand new, it's a really good step one. Let's see. Another good beginner question here. What can you explain sales rank on Keep It? Do you need to be in the low end? Yeah, so 1 would be the best selling product in that category. Typically like top 150, 200,000 in most categories is good, but obviously some are a lot bigger than others. So you can just look like the SellerAmp monthly sales estimates there. Let's see. Got approved. You checked 100 ASINs, can't find any auto ungates. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about with the Boxem auto ungate. If you just go plug your store into that, you'll get 50 to 100 brand approvals in the next 10 minutes. I made a 2-minute long video on my channel. It's a couple weeks ago. It's about auto ungating brands. If you want to watch like the 2-minute version of how to set that up for your store. Sweet. Let's see. Watched all the videos. Yeah, just watch, like we're talking about. You can auto ungate or just watch the you can auto ungate on Boxem, or just watch like the typical ungating guide if you're trying to figure out how to get ungated to sell stuff. And like we're saying, like if you buy from distributors, like what Jonah does or what I do, you're good either way. Sweet. Is there a software that can help you calculate shipping costs by FBM? So you can just buy shipping labels through Seller Central. That'll be like the cheapest place to get it. Sometimes you can go to Pirate Ship if it's like super heavy. It might be a little bit cheaper. But yeah, generally you'll just buy those labels on Seller Central, and then it'll charge you on show you like how much you're getting charged on Boxem and that kind of stuff. So yeah, let us know what other wholesale questions you guys got here. And sweet. You wanna take this one here? I've been yapping too much.
Yeah, I got it. How many of your high turnover SKUs are currently sitting in pending status, essentially held hostage by a slow settlement?
I got you.
Yeah. So for me, I do have a decent amount of pending, but it never lasts long. So the pending is like the first 12 hours, I'd say. And it's a handful of orders. It's not a lot.
Yeah, like we're saying, man, like you just go get after it. Like
Yeah.
I understand like being worried about all these like little things, but it's like really not the issue that maybe you're making it in your head or something like that. But yeah, it does make total sense. But like a lot of these things are things that would never become a problem to even consider until you're at massive scale.
Right.
Like having 0.5% of your orders stuck in pending would, number one, would be a huge percent. Like that doesn't happen, and it would be what, $50 in your first month, $20, right? Like,
right.
You just
it's slowly, I don't know. You start to trust the system because it makes sense, right? Like we're leveraging Amazon. The customers go to Amazon. We're selling brands that people already know. So the trust with the customers there, like they want to buy our products. It's not like there's any fear there. There's the pending. They're not going to revoke their charge. It's just like people are buying everyday products on Amazon. They don't know that they're fulfilled by us. So we don't have to create a listing. We don't have to drive traffic. We don't have to build trust. We find whatever it is, list it, sell it. Like I just looked, I have hundreds of pending orders, and it's all in the last 12 hours. And then if you scroll past that, it's just each one goes from yellow to green, from pending to payment complete. So like once Amazon acknowledges the order, maybe they ship it, it turns to completed.
Yeah. Or people realize they gotta put $5 extra into their credit card to get their shampoo or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, a couple of you guys asking for like distributor connects and that kind of stuff. And Eduardo's asking for like groups you can join. So that's actually a good segue. So Jonah coaches probably has one of the most successful just like programs helping people get started with wholesale. They'll help you find your first distributor and that kind of stuff as well. Super engaged community. You guys can check the link down below if you want to kind of reach out and work directly with Jonah and the community over there. Super cool guys, super genuine. If you're wanting to get into wholesale and want to pay for some help, definitely the guy I would go to there. But yeah, on that, like, in terms of like finding, reliable, legitimate wholesalers, that kind of thing. Somebody's asking in Canada, somebody's asking there. You mentioned like going local suppliers. Like tactically, should you just, go on Google Maps, mom and pop's grocery distributor in your city and start there? Like,
so I do think Google still works, distributor, if you can target it to a niche, that ends up helping. So grocery distributors near me, health and household distributors near me, tool distributors in XYZ area. And from there, it's just about vetting the supplier. So there's going to be a lot of distributors and wholesalers out there, right? But the thing with Amazon is we need supply chain to add up. So if you open a distribution account and they're selling Milwaukee and it looks really profitable, or, like sometimes you have to be aware like of red flags, because there will be red flags in reselling and wholesale. And a lot of them with distributors are just, there's shady distributors out there. So make sure your distributor buys from the brand. A lot of distributors that's clear with, if you search them on Google and they have good reviews and you go to their website and it looks legit, those are all good signs. Pick up the phone and call them to have a conversation. If you can talk to somebody, that's a good sign. It really comes down to like how you found them. If you found them through Google, through a trade show, through the yellow books, whatever it is, probably more on the legitimate side. If it was like, an Instagram ad or a Facebook group that you saw this wholesaler, and then you go to their website and it's like, hey, distribution for Amazon sellers, that's more of the red flag side. So opening distributor counts as easier than opening brands, but it's not always easy anyways. So if it's super easy suppliers, that's usually not the best.
Right. Sweet. Let's get a little lightning round in here, and then probably get to wrap up. See, and do an FBM wholesale. Can you add the items like shipping boxes in SaaS, or is it automatically added? Yeah. So like when you get used to like knowing the shipping cost for that type of item, maybe you ship one order, you can just include it in the FBM shipping costs on Boxem. Yeah, or you could do that. Like DB was saying, if you want to add like the cost of a box that you always pay on every product in your settings, you can do that as well. I like doing that. Let's see, a good question for you. What strategies do you use asking for a brand for an exclusive, that kind of thing? I assume usually you've been working with them. So like, how is it like, hey, let's take this exclusive, that kind of thing?
This is Gregory. Gregory's in the community.
Nice.
So he already knows the answers to this. What I would say for a lot of exclusives, if you're not going to get an exclusive right off the bat, right? Because we have to earn trust to get an exclusive. Like an exclusive deal, that means the brand is exclusively selling to you, and you're the exclusive seller of Amazon. So like you basically control the channel, you make all the sales. If a brand has been selling to a distributor or some online retailer for like 5 years, it's very hard to just tell them to stop, especially because they've been paying them over the years. There's a lot of money involved. We like to just start out as an authorized seller, and then we find some way to add value, and we might get exclusivity on just one ASIN. So like with some brands, we'll get exclusivity on products, just not the whole brand.
That makes sense. And then you can maybe, if that goes well, you kind of work that into, hey, this, we grew your sales by this, and then they're like, all right, let's give it to Jonah. They're doing better than any of our other kind of connections there.
Yeah, because everyone else, like, they might be authorized, but they're not adding any value services, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And Eduardo saying, is your approach actively mentioned you're going to sell on Amazon? I would assume like you'd have no value prop without that. So you're kind of going right for it, right?
Yeah, different approaches, right? Like you don't have to say it in the first email.
Yeah.
So it depends on the brand, depends on your approach, depends on if they're local, if you have a connection, if you are working with a competitor and can name drop the competitor, like whatever it is. I think the point is to just open contact, start buying from them. If they ask where you're selling, 100% tell them you sell online, you sell Amazon, Walmart. You have no problem. You keep map pricing. And unlike all the other guys, you're actually looking to add value. And you realized, oh, the listing had one image. Have you thought about adding more? Because that would increase the sales on Amazon. You know, asking questions.
Makes sense. Are you worried about IP complaints from name brands? I mean, you're buying directly from the brand, so I would assume they know you're on there. Like,
I mean, I had terrible whole story another time. I had terrible instance buying from a distributor. I got an IP complaint from a brand. So distributor was not authorized. I did not vet the distributor. That's why you have to vet your distributor as well. But at the end of the day, if you have a legitimate supply chain and your suppliers are willing to give you paperwork, you can overcome any IP complaint.
Yep. That needs to be like a bad motivational poster or something. You can overcome any IP complaint.
Just make sure you did not find the supplier in Telegram.
Yep, for sure. Awesome. I think that's probably a good place to wrap up here for the day then. Appreciate you popping on here again, Jonah. If you guys, yeah, for sure. Like I was saying, if you guys want to work with Jonah, get his help scaling your wholesale business, getting some brand direct connections, I put the link in the chat and down below. Super good community to work with there. Also, tons of good content all over social media as well. Yeah, we'll be back for Wholesale Friday next week. And yeah, appreciate all you guys popping in today.
Well, let's go. Thanks for having me.